Hey, Raiders fans. Today, we're diving deep into the latest developments surrounding the Las Vegas Raiders and what the future might hold for this team as we look toward the next head coach. With Pete Carroll no longer at the helm, the Raiders are officially in a new era, and there's a lot of buzz about who could step into this pivotal role. Over the past few weeks, there's been a whirlwind of speculation, and while a lot of names are being thrown around, it's important to separate the ones that make sense from those that are just noise. The Raiders now have the number 1 overall pick, significant salary cap flexibility, and plenty of draft capital to work with, making this arguably the most appealing head coaching vacancy in the league right now. Add to that a roster with some foundational pieces already in place, and you can see why this job is incredibly attractive to candidates looking to make an immediate impact. Starting with the offensive side of the football, there are a number of names worth considering, each bringing a different style and philosophy. One name that comes up often is Clint Kubiak, currently the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. Kubiak, who has prior experience with the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints, comes from a family with deep football roots, his father having been a Super Bowl-winning head coach. Only 38 years old, Kubiak represents a young, dynamic offensive mind with strong connections in the league, and fans should be excited about his potential to develop and maximize the Raiders' offensive talent. Considering the likes of Brock Bowers, Ashton Gentry, and other emerging stars, a coach like Kubiak could implement a system that balances the run and the pass while building a strong foundation for the team's offensive future. His ties to the Shanahan coaching tree also suggest a modern approach to play design and quarterback development, which is exactly what a team with draft capital and cap space should be aiming for. Another intriguing option is Grant Udinski, who currently holds the distinction of being the youngest offensive coordinator in the league. If hired, he would also become the youngest head coach in NFL history. Coming from the Liam Cohen coaching tree, Udinski has earned respect across the NFL for his strategic approach and innovative offensive concepts. While he has not yet called plays as a head coach, his track record in developing quarterbacks, including Trevor Lawrence, has drawn attention from teams looking for a forward-thinking offensive leader. His relative youth and adaptability make him a compelling option for a Raiders team looking to embrace modern football, while also fostering a culture of growth and development around their younger stars. Joe Brady is another name to consider, currently the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. At 36 years old, Brady has already made a significant impact on quarterback development and offensive efficiency. He has previously worked with Joe Burrow in college and continues to be recognized as an up-and-coming offensive strategist. While there are some concerns about whether he's best suited for a head coaching role rather than a coordinator position, his ability to adapt, innovate, and develop quarterbacks could make him a valuable asset to a franchise like the Raiders. Pairing someone like Brady with another offensive mind focused on line play or quarterback development could potentially create a very balanced and productive coaching staff. Mike LaFleur, the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, is also in the mix. Although he hasn't called plays recently, LaFleur has experience in both college and the NFL dating back to 2009, and his connections to successful coaches like Sean McVay make him an interesting candidate. He's 40 years old and comes from a lineage of coaching excellence, offering innovative offensive ideas that could mesh well with a Raiders roster rich in young talent. While it might be a risk to bring him in as a head coach immediately, the potential upside of his offensive philosophy cannot be ignored, especially for a team with financial flexibility and a desire to develop its core players. Wes Phillips, currently the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings and son of coaching legend Wade Phillips, is another candidate with pedigree and experience. He has been running the Vikings offense since 2022 and brings a deep understanding of offensive strategy combined with strong leadership qualities. While he may not be at the top of everyone's list, his experience in multiple organizations and his ties to respected coaches could make him an appealing option for a team looking for stability and knowledge on the offensive side of the ball. Similarly, Josh Grizzard, who spent time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, brings a cerebral approach to offense, blending tactical awareness with developmental skills that could help a young roster flourish under the right guidance. Moving on to candidates like Mike McCarthy, The former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys and Super Bowl champion, we see someone with a proven record in the league. McCarthy brings decades of experience, a deep understanding of offensive strategy, and a reputation for leadership. For a team like the Raiders, balancing experience with innovation is critical, and someone like McCarthy could provide the structure necessary to build a championship-caliber team while mentoring younger coaches on the staff. On the other hand, there are coaches like Brian Daboll, formerly head coach of the New York Giants, who might be better suited to a coordinator role. Daboll has shown significant success developing quarterbacks like Josh Allen, and while he may not be the ideal candidate for a head coaching position, his expertise could be invaluable in running the offense and maximizing the potential of emerging stars. As the discussion shifts to defensive-minded candidates, the Raiders' options remain equally intriguing. One name that stands out is Jesse Minter, currently the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers. Minter has extensive experience dating back to his time working with John and Jim Harbaugh, and he shares a coaching philosophy with the Michigan football program. Only 42 years old, Minter combines modern defensive strategies with a disciplined approach that emphasizes pressure, aggression, and adaptability. For a team looking to build a defense capable of matching their offensive potential, someone like Minter offers both vision and execution. Chris Shula, defensive coordinator of the Rams and grandson of Don Shula, also represents a high-upside candidate. At 39 years old, Shula has been involved in top-tier NFL defenses and has shown the ability to succeed even with limited resources. For the Raiders, having a coach who could develop a defense efficiently while the team invests heavily in offensive talent could be a strategic advantage. Brian Flores is another defensive-minded candidate under consideration. With experience as head coach of the Miami Dolphins and a stint as a Patriots assistant, Flores brings a reputation for toughness, discipline, and a commitment to building aggressive defensive units. Known for a philosophy centered around relentless pressure and stopping opponents before they can establish rhythm, Flores represents a style that aligns with the traditional Raiders' identity: physical, intense, and uncompromising. Meanwhile, Jeff Hafley, currently defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, offers strong leadership and a proven track record in both college and professional football. Hafley has experience building programs from the ground up and could be an influential presence in mentoring younger players and developing a sustainable defensive scheme. While not every name on the radar may become the next head coach, the Raiders' list is loaded with intriguing possibilities. Whether the focus is on youthful innovation or seasoned experience, there are coaches available who could develop the roster's young talent, build strong systems on both sides of the ball, and help the Raiders return to prominence. With the firing of Pete Carroll, the organization has a clean slate and the opportunity to make a statement in the NFL, not only in selecting a coach who can win games immediately, but also in establishing a culture that reflects the team's ambitions and identity. As we turn our attention fully to the defensive side of the football, the conversation gets even more intriguing. The Raiders are looking for someone who can not only manage a defense, but also instill a culture of toughness, aggression, and adaptability. Defensive-minded coaches bring a different perspective to the head coaching role because they often prioritize discipline, positioning, and scheme versatility. For the Raiders, whose offense is rich with potential young stars, the ideal defensive head coach would need to build a unit capable of complementing that talent while being flexible enough to handle a variety of in-game scenarios. Jesse Minter, for example, is already generating a lot of buzz. His experience working with the Harbaughs and his Michigan background gives him a blueprint for success, combining old-school toughness with modern strategic thinking. He emphasizes pressure, speed, and creating confusion for opposing quarterbacks, a philosophy that aligns well with the Raiders' identity of aggressive, no-nonsense football. Another defensive candidate to watch closely is Chris Shula, currently the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. Shula has been a consistent presence in top-tier NFL defenses and has shown an ability to maximize talent, even when resources are limited. The Rams' defensive unit has been effective despite spending significantly less than many other teams, which speaks volumes about Shula's ability to coach players to perform above expectations. For the Raiders, This type of leadership could be invaluable, particularly if there is a need to balance the budget while prioritizing offensive investments around young stars like Brock Bowers, Ashton Gentry, and Fernando Mendoza. Shula's youth combined with his lineage, the grandson of legendary coach Don Shula, gives him both credibility and the potential to innovate while maintaining strong fundamentals. Brian Flores is another defensive figure who cannot be overlooked. Known for his tenacity and ability to inspire his players, Flores has a reputation for building aggressive defenses that aim to dominate opponents. His approach is very much in line with the Raiders' traditional philosophy: play hard, play physical, and make the opponent uncomfortable from the first snap. Flores' experience as a head coach and as a Patriots assistant provides a deep well of knowledge in both player development and strategic game planning. For a team looking to bring back a sense of fearlessness on defense, Flores could be exactly the type of leader who instills accountability and toughness, ensuring that the Raiders' defensive identity is as recognizable as their offensive potential. Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, also adds a unique option. Hafley's history in both college and the NFL highlights his ability to develop talent across levels and adapt schemes to maximize player skill sets. He's known for attention to detail and a focus on fundamentals, and while he may not be the most likely to land the head coaching role, his presence as a candidate demonstrates the Raiders' commitment to evaluating both experience and innovation. Hafley brings an analytical approach to the defense, combining a disciplined structure with aggressive tendencies designed to force turnovers and control the pace of the game. This style can be particularly effective when paired with a strong offensive plan, creating a well-rounded team capable of competing at the highest level. Even beyond these names, there are other defensive minds who have been discussed in whispers around the league. For instance, the Raiders have reportedly expressed interest in coaches like Steve Spagnuolo from the Chiefs, though he's largely viewed as a specialist rather than a full-time head coach candidate. Spagnuolo's history is impressive: five-time Super Bowl champion as a defensive coordinator, but the concern remains whether he could transition into the broader responsibilities of leading an entire NFL team. Raiders fans who expect leadership, vision, and the ability to make bold decisions may find his candidacy limited in scope. The organization is clearly looking for a defensive leader who can think holistically, manage a staff effectively, and create a culture of toughness that permeates the entire team. It's also worth considering how these defensive-minded candidates could complement the offensive talent already on the roster. With young stars and significant cap space, the Raiders have the ability to assemble a team that can compete immediately, but the head coach must be someone who balances risk and reward. Defensive schemes must integrate seamlessly with offensive philosophies, ensuring that the team doesn't just have strong units in isolation, but functions as a cohesive, high-performing system. Someone like Jesse Minter or Chris Shula brings this potential. A coach who can manage the complexity of an NFL roster while instilling a mindset of accountability, preparation, and aggression. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers around the Raiders have grown louder after reports of a serious internal rift involving head coach Pete Carroll and quarterback GENO Smith. According to sources close to the locker room, Carroll has taken a hard line and decided to distance the veteran quarterback from team activities following what is being described as an act of indiscipline that fractured the group behind closed doors. Nothing has been confirmed publicly, but the silence from the organization has only fueled speculation that something significant has unfolded. The story circulating among league insiders suggests a tense locker room confrontation, one that challenged Carroll's authority and tested the culture he has tried to impose since arriving in Las Vegas. Known throughout his career for preaching accountability and competition, Carroll is not believed to tolerate behavior that undermines unity, regardless of a player's status or resume. GENO Smith, experienced and respected, may have found himself on the wrong side of that philosophy if the rumors are accurate. Some believe the issue goes beyond a single incident. There is talk of simmering frustration, miscommunication, and leadership disagreements that finally boiled over. In this version of events, Carroll's response was swift and symbolic. Remove the problem, send a message, and protect the locker room at all costs. For a coach whose reputation was built on energy and trust, allowing doubts to spread internally would be a far greater risk than sidelining a prominent name. Around the league, executives and scouts are watching closely. If the separation between Carroll and Smith is real, questions will inevitably arise about the Raiders' direction at quarterback and how this decision might reshape the roster. Others caution that this could be a temporary measure, a calculated power move designed to restore order rather than end a partnership. Until the Raiders break their silence, the situation remains a mix of rumor and educated guesswork. What seems clear, however, is that Pete Carroll is intent on establishing discipline early, even if it means making a controversial statement that reverberates far beyond the locker room. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.